Hi, sixth grade. This video is for you on Thursday morning, the 26th of March. You are moving through your reading assignment, and hopefully you are making good progress with your section 2, finishing up the quiz. You have about 20 minutes left to go until 5 o'clock for that. And then section 3 starts for you, and that's due on Monday. We're going to take a look briefly at your grammar here in a minute, but I want you to pay attention to Monday. You're going to have that section 3 due, and you have a discussion for that. So make sure that you pay attention to what I'm asking you to write in your discussion, and then use your time over the weekend or whenever you finish the reading to make sure that you have the discussion item finished for Monday. So the lesson for grammar, page 88, which is lesson 4.5, is intransitive verbs. That will be due on Monday. This is piggybacking off of the transitive verbs. Remember, transitive verbs have objects. Intransitive verbs do not. So if you look at page 88, it says an intransitive verb has no receiver of its action. It has no direct object. An intransitive verb may be followed by an adverb. Now, adverbs tell how something was done, or why something, or how meaning to what extent. For instance, how cold is it? It's very cold outside. That gives you the idea of to what extent. So if you look at your lesson page, the examples say that Bessie Coleman came from Texas. Now, came is an action verb, but from Texas is not an object. It's actually a prepositional phrase. So that's going to be an intransitive verb without an object. The second one says, Bessie worked diligently. Worked is an action verb, but diligently tells us how she worked. So that's an adverb, and that also means that the verb worked is intransitive without a direct object. So sometimes verbs can be transitive or intransitive according to how they're used in the sentence. And you have the verb wrote. So in the first example, it says journalists wrote about Bessie Coleman. That is intransitive because we have the phrase about Betsy Coleman, which is a prepositional phrase, and we can't answer the question wrote whom or what, because we're not asking wrote about whom, but rather trying to answer the question wrote about, and we are wrote what or whom, and we can't answer that. But in the second example, it says journalists wrote stories about her skills. Wrote, and then we ask ourselves, wrote what or whom? Stories. So that makes that verb transitive, like we did in the lesson prior. And it asks if you could identify in which of these sentences the verb flew is transitive and in which the verb is intransitive. So Bessie Coleman flew in air shows. Flew is the verb, but ask yourself, flew what or whom? No, that's not going to work. It tells us where. In air shows, which is a prepositional phrase. So obviously flew is intransitive there. Bessie Coleman flew many different planes. In that case, flew what or whom? Planes. And that is a direct object, which means that flew in that sentence is transitive. Your assignment for this lesson is page 89, exercise 2 only. And it asks for you to identify the verb or the verb phrase and then tell whether the verb is transitive or intransitive. In sentence 1, it says Bessie Coleman came from a large family. What's the subject? Bessie. What did she do? Came, it says. So came is the verb. And then you ask yourself, came what or whom? If you have an answer to that, it's a direct object, which means that the verb is transitive. But in this sentence, came does not have an object. It tells from a large family, which is a prepositional phrase. So in this sentence, number 1, you will say came equals intransitive. You have 2 points for that sentence. Take your time as you go through each sentence, read it very carefully. Make sure that you know how the verb is being used in the sentence. And you should be able to finish this assignment, and it's due on Monday. Now, your reading assignment for section 3 is due on Monday as well, and make sure that you look at the discussion that you're going to need to do. So have a great day. Hopefully, you'll watch this on Thursday morning, and then we'll touch base again on Friday. God's blessings to you.